Historical pictures are in black and white. Legendary exploits are in full color. Very little is known about Mike Fink, except that he was a real person and that he was a riverman. The many tall tales about Mike Fink's exploits that have come down to us through the years are probably imaginary, although many of them may have had a basis in fact. After the Revolution, adventurous Americans followed the trail Daniel Boone had blazed over the mountains and through the Cumberland Gap into the bluegrass country of Kentucky. Here they built their homes. Mike Fink was born in such a frontier settlement, and it was here that the tall tales about him began. One story told how Mike, while only a boy, knocked out a wolf with his bare fists. Other stories told about his skill with a gun and his daring as an Indian scout. But soon, Mike was attracted to the boom town of Pittsburgh and to life on the river. Young and green, he seemed to be fair game to Thunderbolt, bully, and boss riverman. When Mike knocked the bully flat, Thunderbolt challenged him to a shooting contest. Mike fired bullet after bullet into the center of the target and easily won the bet. With his winnings, Mike bought Thunderbolt's boat and hired him and his gang as crew. Delighted at becoming a riverman, Mike raced to his boat, which he named the Lightfoot. In those days, the Ohio, Mississippi, and Missouri rivers were the main highways into the lands beyond the mountains. The first cargo boats were flatboats, clumsy craft that could only float downstream. Floating downstream, the flatboats passed the Spanish-French town of Natchez and the notorious dives under the bluffs. They passed the plantations along the lower Mississippi. And finally arrived at New Orleans, the gateway for commerce to and from the eastern United States and Europe. Only keelboats with their pointed bows and shallow hulls were able to move upstream. These boats had cleats along the deck to aid the boatmen who poled them upstream. Some keelboats had masts and sails so they could take advantage of the wind. Mike Fink's Lightfoot was a keelboat. Soon he had earned the red feather of a boss boatman. On a journey to New Orleans, Mike amused his crew by shooting at targets along shore. With a single shot, Mike clipped the tails off 2 pigs. The irate farmer swore out a warrant for Mike's arrest. Knowing the sheriff needed the reward money, Mike agreed to submit to arrest. But on the condition that he be allowed to go into court in his boat. Everyone laughed so hard at the boat on wheels that the judge dismissed the case. Returning to the river, Mike tied up his boat near a well-known robber's den. The robbers made a sneak attack, but Mike and his crew were more than a match for them. There were other perils besides robbers on the river. Rivermen had to keep a sharp watch for snags of fallen trees, as well as for sandbars and rapids. One night, a landslide sent a great tidal wave up and down the river. The only riverman to outride the wave and save his boat was Mike Fink. As the country became more settled, the river highways were taken over by steamboats. Realizing that the old days had gone from the river forever, Mike took his keelboat and poled up the Missouri into the wilderness. One day, Mike decided to try his well-known trick of shooting a cup off the head of a companion. He shot too low and the man was killed. A friend of the victim claimed that Mike had deliberately shot too low, and he drew his pistol and shot Mike dead. The passing of Mike Fink was also the passing of an era in American history, but the legend of Mike Fink lives on. The end. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We really appreciate it. Cheers.